Thank you, Zoom. Hello, everybody. I was running a little bit late, so I'm all disheveled feeling. But okay, today's live. The secret to success. Okay, so I'm just going to move this over. If you're joining me here, please say hello so that I can see who it is and see who you are. And if you're catching us on the replay, please do hashtag replay so that I can also see that you've been watching. Okay, let's dive right in, shall we? The secret to success. So the way that the first step obviously is define success, right? But that's a given, that's not the secret. I'm going to start with a couple of givens because there are quite a few ways to approach this, and then I'm going to go into like the way I kind of approach it. Sorry, dogs are barking, neighbors' dogs are barking in the background and it's really distracting. Okay, so first is to define success. Hi, Session. Okay. So what is success to you? Now, we're socially conditioned to very much connect success with financial success, business success, status, right? But I really like to Google things, even when it's words that we're very familiar with and that, you know, seem kind of obvious. I like to Google them just to get really accurate on it. And success is literally defined as achieving whatever goal you have. So like whatever you set out to do, success is when you succeed to actually achieve that goal, accomplish that goal. So it's achievement, it's accomplishment of whatever goal you set for yourself. Now, the main thing here is to really kind of decide for yourself what the goal is. Okay, now if you have a really huge goal, and this is something that I spoke to in last week or the week before, then it's going to feel very right. So success will be that much harder. And so I love reverse engineering. Okay, and so if you have this really big goal, that's awesome. Goals are good, but then reverse engineer it, work backwards and figure out what the next very doable step is so that you can succeed much more easily. Hold on. Sorry, my Wi-Fi. Hold on a second. Okay, having internet issues. Are we good? Okay. Apologies. Let me know if I'm freezing or whatever. I've turned off the Wi-Fi now. So the first tip would be to break down your big main goal into doable goals so that success is that much easier. And then, of course, it really is questioning. Get very, very clear on what it is that you want to succeed in. Like, what is that goal? What is that aim? What is that purpose? Like, what are you aiming for? What are you striving for? Is it financial stability, financial abundance? Good morning, Missy. Is it love? I mean, I can share with you. I always had access to money. Okay, so for me, success was never about money. Although as a child, I was like, oh, I want fame and fortune. And I had access to money. It was never really my money. Like, so that it is something that I have wanted to be financially independent. But I don't remember when I started doing this. You know, you say like when you blow out your candles at your birthday, like make a wish and you're not allowed to tell anyone because it won't come true. But mine came true. So I think it's okay if I share it. For those of you that are superstitious, close your ears. But for years and years and years, I really don't remember when I started doing this. I'm assuming in early adulthood or in my teens. Every time I blew out my candles, I would wish for health and happiness, because at the end of it, when I was like, if I get to wish for something and it might come true, manifestation, right? Like, if I can like put one thing out there, what is it that I really, 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 really want? And it was health and happiness. That is what it came down to for me. And I've achieved that. It was something that I didn't have. I struggled so much with my mental health that it negatively affected my physical health. If it was night terrors, night sweats, rage outbursts, panic attacks, tics, exhaustion, just very much struggled to function. And I'm a high achieving, high functioning, gifted kind of person. And so for me, it was rough. And so I was on my medication and I was drinking for like self-medicating, and it was a struggle. So for me, health and happiness were the like ultimate goals, because obviously I was miserable trying to like deal with all of that. But very much for me, the emotional aspect and the mental aspect impacted the physical aspect for me. And so overall, I guess spiritual health too, if you're really gonna go all in on it. But yeah, so for me, health and happiness was the biggie. And the way, my secret, there are two things that I actually want to really like kind of share with you when it comes to achieving, like succeeding, right? Like actually getting what you want. So the way I like to view it is as though your mind, body, soul, spirit, energy, whatever you want to call it, your system. I like calling it system. Imagine that it's a business. Okay. So my business was going bankrupt. It was not doing well. And essentially what I realized was that I was trying to get help, and the help wasn't good enough. It wasn't working. So for me, I went to traditional therapy. So imagine like my system, this business, there's something wrong with the emotional part of it. So let's say the emotional part of it is customer service. Okay. And so I was going to an accountant who has studied business and studied finances and said, your business isn't doing great, right? And like you're losing a shit ton of money. Tell me, you know, how shitty things are, and we will, you know, focus on the fact that you're losing money, and you know, you can tell me about how the customer service isn't doing well, and I will see you, I will listen to you, I will hold space for you. But at the end of the day, they didn't help me figure out how to rebuild that department. They didn't tell me, okay, learn about customer service, recruit the right people, you know, get a really strong HR and get the feedback loop going, you know, get your clients to give you feedback, like all this stuff. This department was just crashing and burning. And I wasn't really being given the tools to A, understand that that's what was going on, and B, what to do about it. Okay, I was just being validated, which is very important, especially when it's like emotional things. And you know, therapy has its place, but it's not enough, as in my opinion, at least, and in my experience. So the way I see it is that you need to become the CEO. You need to step up to the plate, because if this really was a business and you were deep nose crashing and burning, your business was going under, what would you do? Would you say, like it's going to shit? Would you be like grabbing at straws, like who can help me, like, or would you be saying, okay, I'm going to step up to the plate, I'm going to be CEO, I'm going to take responsibility, I'm going to figure this shit out, I'm going to figure out who to hire, I'm going to figure out, amen, I'm going to figure out who knows how to help me identify which department needs what in order to rebuild, in order to start becoming a really good fucking business making money, blah, 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 whatever is serving in whatever way, making the products and the services and et cetera, right? So that's essentially the way I view life because we need to and so many of us aren't behaving like CEOs. We are not taking responsibility. We are not willing to step up to the plate and be like, okay, this is on me. I am in the driver's seat. I am the one in control. I am the one that's going to make hard decisions. And I am the one that's going to have to do hard things. And the thing is that a lot of the time we don't step up because we don't believe in ourselves enough. We don't believe that we can. And society has us conditioned to believe that we can't. Like when you look around social conditioning wise, like when things get hard, what do? Go to therapy. It's not learn. It's not figure it out. It's not, you know, thank you, Lucy. Sorry, I'm reading. It's what I found I needed. You are such a support to my journey to mental clarity. Thank you. Okay. Honored. But yeah, it doesn't like the thing is as well, like it's scary when we're stepping outside of our comfort zones and when we're stepping into the unknown, right? Like it's scary to be a CEO. It's scary to take responsibility. I shirked responsibility my whole life. I was like, I just don't want to be responsible for anything. The responsibility scares me. And the thing is because I really believed that I couldn't. I was led to believe that I couldn't. And simultaneously, I think my saving grace is that there is one thing that kind of helped me realize that I could, which was my mom had always told me, Emily, you can do whatever you put your mind to. and it's true. Whenever I decided I wanted to do something, I did it, and I did it well. Okay, so I play instruments, I play piano, drums, guitar, competitive dancer, competitive gymnastics, competitive tennis, swimming, you name it. I wanted to do something, I would do it, and I would do it well. Languages, arts, whatever. Okay, and so that's something that kind of guided me, and I managed. That for me is something that we don't hear enough in the mainstream, that we don't hear enough in the self-help books, that we don't hear enough about in TED Talks, like in general. It's not, the secret is to believe that you can, because if you don't believe that you can, you're not going to try. And it's going to scare the fuck out of you, even more so, because it is scary. It's scary as fuck. But imagine what it would be like if from childhood you had someone like I had that said, you can do anything. You can do anything. Absolutely anything. You can do it. If you decide that you want to do it, you can do it. Like how, that's a game changer. Because then as an adult, it's like you have this belief, I can do hard things. Sarah, beautiful Sarah, she's my VA and my partner for the next venture that we have coming next year. She is always talking about this. Sarah can do hard things. I hope it's okay that I'm sharing with Sarah. But it's true. We can do hard things, and we're led to believe that we can't. And it's just a lie. Because if you look back at your life, how many hard things have you done and survived them? A shit ton, I'm sure. If I say name one thing, I'm sure that you could come up with one really hard thing that you have done. And we can do hard things. We totally can. And when you want to succeed in life, get very clear on what it is that you want. What are you setting out to achieve? If it's something really big and really far away, break it down, reverse engineer it so that you have the next step right in front of you and you know what to do and you know that it's doable and you know you can do hard things, and so you can do it, and then you will do it, and you'll at least try to do it, and you're not afraid to fail, because if you fail, it's just learning. You can do hard things, but we all need a support network to make it happen. Yeah. And that's another part of it. A business, right? Like if you're the CEO of the business, are you going to take everything on by yourself? Are you going to be, I'm going to be customer support and HR and finances and accounting and the production line and all of it. I'm going to do it all. No, no one can do it all. No one can do it all alone. If you are the CEO of the company, it means you learn how to delegate. That you need. I have done my schooling from non-English. Still, I managed to complete my MPhil and have mastered. Okay, it's too long for me to read it, but yeah, you can do hard things. You can. And this is the point as well. Thank you, Lucy, for bringing up the point of support, because it is very, very important. If I want to have a good employee culture going on in here, I want to be a good vibe, so I will hire an HR team, because HR will take care of the employees. Okay, so you hire the person that's going to hype you up, you're going to hire the coach, you're going to hire the whoever it is that can help you figure out that bit. But then there's another department, right? There's the production line. Things are happening, getting made, and then there's an input, output. So let's say the digestive system, right? If your digestive system is fucked, then you're going to hire someone that is an expert in digestion, and they will help you figure it out. They will help you come and rebuild and whatever. You hire the people, you find the people that can help you. Hi. And so it really does, it matters first to get clear. First, the clarity. Where am I going? What's the A that I'm at, and where's the B that I'm trying to get to, right? If that's really far away, break it down. What's this next doable step that I can do? And this is you really stepping up to the plate as the CEO of your own business, okay? And then you also find the support that you need along the way if you need it, and you probably will. And I say hire, I mean hire as like the business metaphor. Like you can find support without having to pay for it. Yes, of course, if you pay for support, you may get quicker, whatever, easier, blah, 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 but not necessarily. Now I've achieved happiness, I've achieved health, I achieved my like big life goals. I wanted to be a mother, I became a mother. Like to me, I'm one of the most successful people I know because I have achieved nearly everything that I have set out to achieve in my life. Now I have a few more new goals and aims because I can keep building and I can keep going and I can keep succeeding, right? And obviously every time we achieve something, we want the next thing. And so you get more conscious and intentional about that. But you look back and you say, oh, I did that. I can do hard things and I've succeeded. And you focus on the things that you have succeeded in. You build up that momentum. You have to build up that sense of self-belief that you can be the CEO of this. It's like, yes, I do have the credentials. Yes, I do have what it takes because I've done all of that. And even if I haven't done all of that, there is another piece that I wanted to share. Okay, when we don't believe in ourselves, it's usually to do with self-doubt. Self-doubt is usually connected to low self-worth. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I can't do it. Like, who am I to do this, right? And that feeds into the failure, to the whatever. Now, the thing is that if you don't have a good, solid sense of your self-worth, that's really going to be a struggle, because every time you have that thought of, oh, I'm a failure, and oh, I haven't got this and I can't do it, then that's going to bring you down, because it's going to kind of give that evidence to your lack of self-worth. And so it's not conducive towards succeeding. So what I can offer you here is the insight and the knowledge and the awareness that you are innately worthy. You are innately good enough. Because if you weren't, then it wouldn't bother you to feel like a failure. If you felt like a failure, like, oh, I failed, okay. But it bothers you because you know deep down that it's not true. Like, you know deep down, I am worthy. And so the fact that I'm feeling like not worthy and like a failure, it's not vibing. It's just, it doesn't sit well. Like, it wouldn't bother you if it weren't true, right? So it's like every child is born worthy. And then when life happens and shit happens and we like adopt and internalize all these like self-limiting beliefs, and I'm not good enough, I'm not big enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not skinny enough, I'm not blah enough, whatever, it hurts. Because it's like really disconnecting us from our truth, which is that we are good enough. So hopefully that is proof enough for you that you are innately worthy. Just no contact with one. Yeah. So, sorry, reading comments. You are innately worthy. And build on that. Look for the evidence that you are good enough. Okay. Oh yeah, I did that. I went through that hard thing and I survived. I'm still here. I can do hard things. Worth. I'm good. Build on that sense of self-worth. Okay. Then when something comes along and makes you feel like a failure, which it inevitably does happen to us, right? Then if you remember last week's live, we are not our thoughts. Okay, we think our thoughts, we are not our thoughts. So you can start observing it, like become the observer and be like, oh, there's a thought that's making me feel like a failure, but I know I'm not a failure. Okay, and so you can have this duality. It's a practice, by the way. Like, it really is like becoming the observer of your own thoughts as opposed to like attaching them. Like, you can feel it, you can allow yourself space. This is the point. Like, you can allow yourself space to feel the feeling. I can cry, I can feel sad, I can grieve the loss of whatever it is I thought I was gonna have, whatever. You can feel that shitty feeling, but it's not going to crush you, and it's not going to be the end of the world, because you know you're good enough. You know you are worthy. You know that this feeling is just a feeling, and feelings pass, right? You know that this is just a thought. Feelings and thoughts, they come and go if you let them. What we like to do is we like to like ruminate, and we like to like rethink it and refeel it. I think I read somewhere, it was a TED talk about thoughts, and I think that feelings actually have a 90 just this in little children, but they'll like cry, and then you're like, oh look, a duck. And they'll be like, bing, finished. You know, like the feeling is actually very short, but we like to think about it again and think about it again. Like, oh my God, he said this. Oh my God, he said this. Oh my God, she did that. You know, like we like to ruminate and feel it again and again and again. So as long as you're aware that feelings come and go like a tide, like waves, they come and then they go. They do go, right? Like, I'm sure that 3 years ago, you were really pissed off about something. You're not pissed off about it anymore. Or someone really hurt your feelings like a month ago. We get over it. Like, feelings come and go, right? And so when you have this ability to observe the thought and observe, like, let the feelings come and kind of and work through it, and you have the ability to observe, and you have this anchor of like self-worth, like a strong sense of self-worth, like that's not going to affect it. I can have a strong sense of self-worth and still have this thought, oh, I feel like a failure, okay. And you don't let it, like a wave or a tide coming and going, you don't let it drown you. You don't let it, oh, come, and I'm drowning in this feeling. Okay. It's literally, that's what you become able to do when you start practicing observing your thoughts as thoughts, not as truth, not as identity. Okay. And so it's another part of the secret is really practicing. It's a practice. Okay. Like what I'm saying here is something that takes a lot of practice, but I can tell you 100% I have mastered this and it works. Okay. Like, for example, this week, I talked about this on my live last week. I just stopped breastfeeding and I had to stop cold turkey because the weaning didn't work. And, you know, there were loads of transitions. We just moved. And so my toddler was not happy, but I had to do it for our sanity because we weren't sleeping. I wasn't sleeping. He wasn't sleeping, whatever. Point is, I made the decision, CEO decision. I can do hard things. And I had to decide to stop breastfeeding. And hearing your baby cry for an hour at a time, screaming, crying in the night, mama, 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 and I cannot go to him. I felt like a failure. I felt like I had failed at one of the biggest goals of my life, being a good mom. I felt like I failed because I hadn't taught him successfully how to self-soothe to sleep. And I hadn't been successful at weaning him off gently, like I really wanted to. And I really tried, but I failed at that. And I felt like a failure. And I was able to feel the feelings. I did a lot of crying this week. I have pictures to prove it. I really did a lot of crying this week and I felt those feelings, but I had this very strong sense, anchor of like, to hold on to this like self-worth, like I can do hard things and I'm not a failure. I know I'm not a failure. I know, because I can do hard things and I have survived a shit ton of stuff. And so I know that I'm good enough and I know that I'm a good mom and I know that I'm doing my best. And, you know, I had all this stuff to kind of hold on to. So I was able to feel these feelings and be sad and observe it from a detached kind of, it didn't knock my identity. It didn't crush me. It didn't bring my whole world down, which is what it would have done 10 years ago, 6 years ago, right? And so this really is, as I see it, the secret to success is having this practice, this self-mastery, right? Like that's why I call my program Self-Mastery and Success, because it really is mastering yourself, becoming the CEO of this business, okay? Making hard decisions, taking radical responsibility over yourself, saying, I'm in charge. Life doesn't happen to me. I'm not just reacting to the shit that's happening to me all the time. And I'm not a victim of my circumstance or whatever. No, I'm in charge. I'm the fucking boss. And I'm the one that's going to choose what's going to get done and what's going to happen and how I'm going to succeed. And, you know, I'm going to find the things and the people and the tools and the whatever, all the things that I need in order to make it happen. And I'm going to make it fucking happen, because I'm the boss of this business and it's not going bust. It's not going bankrupt. It's going to be a huge success. But you have to make that decision. You really, really do. And you have to believe in yourself in order to do it. I can tell you there was a program that I watched on, I don't know if you can find it. I will try and find it. It was on the Discovery Channel in America, Undercover Billionaire. They had 3 billionaires go undercover in America. They just dropped them off in random states that they'd never been to. They gave them a $100 bill, a car, and a phone with no contacts in it, no phone numbers. And they dropped them off and they said, you have to survive for 3 months. You have to figure it out. You have to find a way, somewhere to live, somewhere to eat. Like you have to like get a job, whatever. You have to just, we're dropping you off. That's all you've got. A car, $100 and a phone without any contacts in it. And you don't know anyone. And not only do you have to survive for 3 months, you have to build a business that at the end of the 3 months will be valued at $1 million. They fucking did it. All 3 of them. And when I was watching this and I was watching them struggle and try and find a job and where to eat and how to do, and like make connections and like figure things out, like everyone had a different approach. Everyone had a different business. One was property, one was marketing, and one was juice. But like literally the one theme, the one like key factor that all 3 of them had was this unwavering belief that they could do it. Obviously, they wouldn't have done the show, I think, if they hadn't believed that they could, but they succeeded. And you can see the confidence that they had in themselves. It's like, I know I can do this. It's going to be hard, fine. And you could see the failure, the moments where they're like, oh my God, can I do this? Can I do this? Like the self-doubt creeping in, but they're like, I can fucking do this. And you can see it's like confidence, people, belief, a sense of self-belief. Okay, it's not even confidence. And even now, right, with my business, I started this business nearly 3 years ago, and I this summer realized that I needed support in confidence with the business side of things, because I hadn't built a business previously to that. And so I got myself a confidence coach, a business coach, a business mentor, but she focuses on the belief bit, on the confidence bit, because I knew that in this specific area, it's what I didn't have enough experience in to give me that sense of belief. The good thing about believing in yourself, not for business necessarily, but for life, right? For like succeeding in general, is the fact that you can look back at your life and see that you have experience in living, right? You have lived however long you've lived, and you've survived it. You're still here, you know, and so I've done this. Make a list of all the things that you have done, hard things, little things, accomplishments, achievements, the little successes, the little wins, the big wins, whatever. Make a whole, like an exhaustive list of all the hard shit that you have done and succeeded in doing, that you have gone through. And then try and tell me that you do not feel like you can believe in yourself and that you can be a CEO of this. So yeah. And breathe. That's it. That's my secret to success. Slightly long-winded, but I had to kind of like break it down and explain it all in that way. I shall try and maybe make it more succinct next time. But basically, in summary, right? You got to be the CEO of you. So you need to take responsibility, make hard decisions. You need to believe in yourself that you can be the CEO. Okay. And it's not fake it till you make it. Fuck that. It's like actually believe in yourself, because look what you've done already. Okay. And having that self-worth anchor to like hold on to. This isn't an anchor. I know this is like a pole, whatever. I'm a visual person. I feel like I need to visualize something that I'm holding on to. So it's like the self-worth piece, build that, like explore what needs to happen, like what's missing there, like make that list. Look at all the things I've done. That will help you realize how capable and competent you really are, because you are. Okay. And obviously reminding yourself that you are innately born like worthy. Otherwise it wouldn't hurt so much when we feel like rejected and you know, like a failure, etc., etc. And remember that thoughts are just thoughts that we think, that we experience. Feelings we feel, we experience, but we are not our feelings and we are not our thoughts. We become the observer of them. And that's such an important skill to practice, becoming the observer, detaching your identity and your sense of self from your thoughts and your feelings. Thoughts and feelings are super super important and really, really valuable, useful tools. They can show us what needs work, what needs attention, what's, you know, what our triggers are, what's going on. Trigger work, so good. Really, 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 really good trigger work. If you've been around and you know my stuff for a while, I did a trigger workshop last year. It might still be up actually, but point is that was the summary, right? CEO, belief, self-worth, observer. Okay. I think I got everything covered that I wanted to cover. A little bit longer than usual today, but I felt it was important, and this is like I wanted to really deep dive into it. And on that note, if this is stuff that you are vibing with, that you are really relating to, that you're like, oh yes, okay, this makes sense, and this is something that I really would like more of. And if you really do want some more assistance with your self-mastery and success journey, then I have my course, which is starting next week. Yeah, I'm so excited. And I really, really do urge you that if it's something you're interested in, sign up for next week's, because it's half price. It will be half price if you join this round. Yes, founding members of my program get half price. So let me know if you're interested. Regardless of whether you are or you're not, let me know how this landed, how this felt to you, this live, because I really am interested in hearing from you and hearing what helped. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you in general, because if you're here, then you're my kind of people. So reach out, let's connect. And that's it for today. Thank you. Bye.